Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're talking about sole proprietorships. In this video, we'll talk about what they are, some of the pros and cons of running one, and how to get the ball rolling if you want to start your own. If at any point you want to check out a business formation service that can help set up your business for you, check out the affiliate link that's down in the description. You'll get a discount that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. So, that being said, what is a sole proprietorship? Well, a sole proprietorship is one of the simplest business entities you can start. In a sole proprietorship, a single person owns and operates the business. There's minimal paperwork and formalities compared to other business structures. You're free to make decisions without having to worry about partners. This business type is about as straightforward as they come. You are the business and the business is you. So you see, legally, there is no separation between you and the business. In a sole proprietorship, you and your business are considered the same entity. This means that any business income and losses are reported on your personal income tax return using the Schedule C form. Any profits are then taxed on your personal income tax rate. By not having that separation between you and the business, that means that you as an individual are personally liable for any business debts or legal issues. That means in case of legal trouble, your personal assets could be considered fair game in court. Now, this doesn't mean that just because you are a sole proprietor, there is no way to protect yourself and your personal property if that were to ever happen. I've personally had a sole proprietorship. And yes, the lack of liability protection was a concern I had in my business. But you see, even though you and your business are considered the same entity, you can still be protected through business insurance. As an example, a general liability policy can provide coverage for legal costs and damages if someone sues your business for bodily injury, property damage, or personal and advertising injury, like slander or libel. These insurance policies can help cover legal costs, settlements, and judgments. Now, if your business provides services like real estate or accounting, a professional liability insurance can protect you against claims of negligence, errors, or omissions in your work. To protect myself and my tutoring business, I got a small general liability and professional liability policy. Now, sole proprietorships aren't perfect. Along with the benefits, there can be a few drawbacks as well, like the unlimited liability exposure, difficulty in growing the business, and tax disadvantages. Now, we've talked about this before, but one significant disadvantage of a sole proprietorship is that the owner has unlimited personal liability for the business, potentially putting the owner's personal assets at risk if they don't find other means of protection. All right, so say funding your business is becoming a challenge. Well, raising more capital may be tricky compared to other business structures. Since the business is tied directly to the owner's personal assets and credit, getting loans or investors can be a challenge. Because of this, growing the business could plateau, making it hard to take on bigger projects, enter new markets, or compete with larger businesses. Now, taxes. While filing your taxes within a sole proprietorship is fairly simple, proprietors are responsible for self-employment taxes, which can be higher than the payroll taxes paid by employees of corporations. So with the pros and cons of sole proprietorships in mind, how does a sole proprietorship measure up to, say, an LLC or C corporation, also called a C Corp? Well, the most notable differences to me are how the businesses are structured and the legal requirements they have. So as far as structure, starting a sole proprietorship is a super simple process. I could start one tomorrow depending on what I wanted to do. And in terms of legal requirements, the most basic requirement I can see of all sole proprietorships is to file a Schedule C form on the owner's personal tax return, reporting their business income and expenses. Now, depending on what you want to do in your business, you may have to get certain permits or licenses too. So be sure to keep that in mind as well when starting your business. Now, with an LLC, the process is a little more lengthy. There is an application process and paperwork that needs completed, and you need an operating agreement for your LLC. And legally, your LLC is required to file an annual report with the state, regardless of changes in your business or not. A C Corp has significantly more requirements compared to an LLC. These types of businesses don't pop up in a day, and there is a lot more involved to the process, like filing articles of incorporation, adopting corporate bylaws, holding regular shareholder meetings, and maintaining corporate records, just to name a few. They also have annual requirements they need to submit to the state. but also requirements they need to fulfill in the business, like handling their stock. All right, so if you are ready to get started and want to learn how to start your own sole proprietorship, there's a few things you got to do. First, you need a name for your business. Now, you may choose to operate under your own name. For some services, that may be just fine. When I first started tutoring, I used my name and it worked, but that may not be the case for everybody. If you do decide you want to use a name different than your own, also called a fictitious name, be sure it isn't already taken. While a simple Google search should do the trick, if you want to be extra cautious, you can start by checking the online database of your Secretary of State or Department of State's website. Most states have a searchable business entity database where you can check out existing business names. If you want to be really thorough, though, you can also check for trademarks on the United States Patent and Trademark Office website to see if the name is registered federally. If you do decide you want to use a fictitious name, you may need to register a doing business as, or DBA, with your county clerk's office or state government. To do this, there's going to be a few more steps you'll need to take. Now, what those steps are varies from state to state, so my recommendation is to check out your Secretary of State's office or your county clerk's office to see what you need to do. The next step is to check for any business licenses or permits you may need to operate your business legally. Check with your local government to see what, if any, licenses or permits are required. When I began tutoring, I lived in one township, and some months later, I moved to another. The township I initially lived in required a license. The one I moved to didn't. So definitely always check, especially if you move or are planning to move. As far as taxes go, as a sole proprietor, you'll need to report your business income and expenses on Schedule C or Form 1040 on your personal income tax return. Make sure you have an understanding of your tax obligations, including self-employment taxes, and keep accurate records of your business income and expenses throughout the year. And a bit of advice from someone who didn't do this in their first year of business, me: make sure you're setting money aside to pay your tax bill come April. Now, if you expect to owe more than $1,000 in taxes in your first full year of business, then you would need to make quarterly tax payments. These payments are estimates based on what you anticipate your total tax due will be at the end of the year. An accountant can help you with the breakdown, or by estimating what your profits will be and knowing your withholding rate, you can work it out on your own. If at the end of the year you underestimate your tax total, then you'll pay it through your income tax return. If you had other income and are due a refund, that balance owed will be taken off of your refund. If you overestimated the amount of taxes you had to pay, then the overpay will be refunded to you in the form of an income tax refund. Now, depending on your state, you may also have to pay state and local taxes. Where I live, I do, so you'll want to take those taxes into consideration too. These quarterly payments are generally due on the 15th of the month following the end of the quarter. So April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th. However, if any of these due dates fall on a weekend or a holiday, the deadline may be shifted to the next business day. So it's always a good idea to double check with the IRS website each year. If you are responsible for those state and local taxes I talked about a little earlier, you'll also want to double check those deadlines as well. In my state, they're a little bit different than the IRS deadlines, so definitely you'll want to make a note of what they are in yours. While there are some steps that are required to do, there are others that are simply good ideas, like opening a business bank account. It's a good way to separate your personal finances from your business finances by having a dedicated business bank account. This can help simplify accounting, track business expenses, and establish a clear record of business transactions. Getting an employer identification number, or EIN, is another step that isn't required for sole proprietors with no employees, but getting an EIN can be good for opening a business bank account, hiring employees in the future, or establishing credit for your business. An EIN is like a social security number for your business. You can apply for one online for free from the IRS website. Finally, insurance. While insurance is not a legal requirement for all sole proprietorships, it is a good thing to have. There are plenty of local agents who can help with that, and certain insurance companies can give you business liability protection through your homeowner's insurance. So getting coverage can be fairly easy. Now, I know this can feel overwhelming. Believe me, I've been there. But starting your own business in the age of convenience, you have two options: doing it all yourself, or let professionals handle the hard parts for you. Now, personally, I chose the latter. There just weren't enough hours in the day, and I knew I would need all the help I could find. After venting to a friend, she told me about Tailor Brands. Tailor Brands can help you with just about everything in your business. They can help with your taxes, getting business licenses, opening business accounts, and even marketing your business. I used them to set up my LLC, which I felt was quicker and less stressful on me than starting my sole proprietorship on my own. Your LLC application is done in just 3 steps and overall takes around 5 minutes from start to finish. The first step is to select your state. Now, there you'll need to answer some simple questions. Now, there's no wrong answer to any of their questions. These questions are used to help Tailor Brands better understand your business. They'll ask for your business name, the products or services you offer, whether you'll have employees, and whether your business is already running or brand new. And naturally, since this information is being used to legally start your LLC, you'll be asked to provide your personal information, like your name and email address. The last thing you'll need to do is submit your LLC application and choose a plan with Tailor Brands. Once all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, they'll take care of submitting your LLC application on your behalf. As for those plans I mentioned, there are currently 3 to choose from depending on your needs and budget. If you need just a little bit of help getting started, the Light plan might be the best fit for you. Now, there is no cost for this plan, so it's definitely budget friendly. Your only financial obligation would be the cost of the state fees. Now, in terms of paperwork, it'd all be on you to complete, and the processing time for your documents through Tailor Brands is 14 days. So if you have time to spare and are able to handle it all yourself, this option could be just the right fit. If you need more support with the legal stuff but have everything else worked out, you can go with the Essential plan. This plan includes helping you establish an operating agreement for your LLC, handling your annual compliance obligations to make sure your LLC stays legal, and when you form your LLC through them, they'll expedite your paperwork to your state within 2 days versus their standard 14-day processing time. This plan runs around $200 a year, and just as a heads up, you would still need to pay your state fees separately. Now, if you're like me and need help with it all, you can choose the Elite plan for around $250 a year. This plan gives you everything you get with the Essential plan, plus their online branding and marketing tools. Using their resources, I've found made branding my business a little bit easier. Through them, you can get a free web domain for a year, a website design builder, 8 free logos, a digital business card, and tools for creating content for social media. So you see, starting a business doesn't have to take every minute of your day. It can be quick and efficient, taking as much time as making a cup of coffee in the morning. So having said that, I see Tailor Brands as one of the best business formation services out there, especially for beginners like me, because they take care of everything on your behalf. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other great services that I've also tried, like ZenBusiness, LegalZoom, and Swift Filings. So I'll go ahead and leave some review videos down in the description if you want to learn more about them too. Now, starting my business for me was a challenge. I just had been furloughed from my teaching job, and I needed a way to earn a living while still being able to do something I loved, teaching. By the time I finished my 9-hour workday, I was tapped out. I was exhausted. Digging into how to legally start a business was not how I wanted to spend my evenings unwinding, and with the added pressure of being unemployed, I knew I couldn't do this alone. While venting my frustrations to a friend, she told me to check out Tailor Brands. Getting started with them, I knew I was going to need all the help I could get. So I chose the Elite plan. Now I understand it is the more expensive of the 3, but I feel like the benefits they offer outweigh the costs. And that wraps up today's video. I really hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. And as for those discounts I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want Tailor Brands to help form your business, check out the affiliate link in the description for discounts you wouldn't be able to find on your own. And be sure to check out my in-depth review of Tailor Brands. Also, feel free to leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them as soon as I can. Thanks again so much for watching. See you next time.